almost done here. About to button it back up. I just wanted to show what I did is I left the stock pump on. The electric pump came with a couple of vacuum caps, so I stuck them over the two ends that were open on here. I assume this is a crankcase breather. I don't really want to cap it off, so it goes to that. I don't know, I may have to cap it off. I'm not really sure what to do with it. It's what was drawing the vacuum or putting pressure out to spin the pump. Originally it wasn't adequate. Don't know if it was just, you know, sucking air somewhere, or wasn't really sealed well or what. So I went with the electric pump. So what I ended up doing was using, I'll show you over here, either side, one of the little studs that comes through on my hydraulic line holders there. There's one back there. And so I took a Dremel tool, rounded out the slot in the tab on the pump enough to get it over the bolt. Stuck a flat washer on there, lock washer, and a nut. Locked her in pretty good. I don't foresee an issue there. Maybe through vibration it may come loose because that's on the lower part of the pivot with the hoses in place, kind of holding pressure, keeping it where it needs to be. I think it'll be fine. So I snapped the stock filter back in place. I used one of the stock lines and ran that to the feed on top of the carburetor. And so I'm just bolting everything back down. The two bolts back here. There's a screw that goes in the top corners of this here. This has the 4 bolts in the front, and then these here have a shoulder on them so they can't go too deep. That one there, and on the engine lift tab here. So you just have to loosen those up, and then this whole front part slides out of there. But screws have to be out. Those 4 have to be out. So it's going back on, and then I have the air cleaner, the rest of this to go on, the screws to put back in to tighten down the front of that. And then I need to finish up my wiring. Right now I just have things thrown up behind here, but it'll just be those spades. I'll just run piggybacks off of the 12 volt there. It's a key on setup, and I used an old float charger cord. So I cut it down to size to what I needed and attached it to the pump. I have a disconnect here. If I have to pull the pump and replace it, I can just easily take and remove that there. And like I said, it goes to the spades, and it has an inline fuse in there. It's just got a 3 amp in there, so we'll see if that lasts. That's what the float charger uses, but this may, I haven't looked at it, see if it draws more than that or not. I don't know, it says O2A, then maybe that's 2 amps. I'm not sure if that number on the side of that matters. I need to look at the specs on that, but this is where I'm at right now. Hopefully it works, and I will definitely let you know. Well, as you can see, the lights are just they're bright, but they have just an extreme focal point, just a little block. I think they could be better if they're more of a spread out diffused light, so I may change those out to something else. They're putting light on the front of the machine. You know, they spread out a little, but that just seems like too much of a focus right there. Like I couldn't aim these separate from each other or anything to make them more practical. I guess that's what I'm looking for. So I'll give it some time, and then I'll decide if I'm going to change them out. Anybody out there change theirs out? Anyone have different ones on theirs? I'll show you what these look like. Turn it off there. They have like 2 magnifying lenses over the bulbs, it looks like there, so pretty much, you know, dictates the pattern that you're going to get. You can see it goes a little bit to the down into the sides, but that center is just so hot. I don't know. What do you think? Well, you can forget seeing anything when you get the arm raised up. Doesn't even show it on video as bad as it's reflected in my eyes right now. I can't see anything in front of the machine. So I definitely need to change these out. Do something a little different here. Well, I thought I had this thing licked as far as running. And I don't know, probably put 5 scoops into trying to turn this mulch pile here late yesterday, and it died. Don't know why it died. Now, the only piece of stock tubing I have left is the last one between the stock filter and the top of the carburetor. So if it's that hose, I mean, it's hard to believe it's that one little piece. Seemed like it's in pretty good shape, but I'll replace that one, and we'll see if that makes a difference. I don't know what else to think, other than there's something churning up in the... It's not like this bounces a lot to be churning anything up in the tank, although, you know, it does draw off the very, let's see, little banjo flange thing down there, fitting looking thing. So it could be that. I hate to drain it. It had very little fuel in it when I got this thing, and so I put good fuel in it, topped it up. I don't know, maybe the gas cap isn't venting properly. Yeah, sitting all night, maybe that's what happens. Maybe it sits and then it, you know, releases pressure, then it runs. I don't know. I haven't tried to start it yet this morning, and I don't really know what to do from here. Maybe pull the carburetor and see if it's got some stuff in there that's getting churned up. But it just seems like it runs like 30-40 minutes and then dies and doesn't restart. So it just seems odd that something would change at that point in time. Sure could use some help on this. If anybody's got suggestions that has these little mini skid steers, it's starting to run out of options. I've looked at a lot of videos and done a lot of things here trying to get this thing dependable. I need it to put in some long days for me. So, help. Thank you. What? Had to rig up some stuff this morning to get this thing running. Had to drop the pump down, the filter down. Had to put in a primer bulb just to get it to feed and run and move back into the garage. And looks like maybe that pump does have to be down as close to the tank as possible. I had read where it would need to be below the tank. Or not read, I watched the video. Back up a little bit here. Watched the video that said that it needed to be below the tank, which, you know, can't really do that on this. But I could get it down there by the floor. Maybe that's better. Maybe it needs to have the gravity to kind of prime itself, and then it'll pump upward. I was trying to make it draw the fuel to it, which it worked for like 40 minutes yesterday and died. So I don't know. Still chasing the gremlins on here for the fueling. So if you got any suggestions, let me know.